Who is she?
There's a story told around these parts. Kind of a local legend. Tells of a woman who was cast out. Sentenced to die on an island out on the lake. There was a man in town who fell madly in love with her. And every night, he would sneak out, row across the lake, bringing her food and company. And every night, she would stand there on the shore, holding a lit candle to help him find his way. But this one night, a terrible storm broke out, caught him out in the open, and it blew out the candle. Even in darkness, the man would not give up. He would not turn back. So he fought against the raging waters until finally the lake took him. They say even then, the woman never lost hope. She kept coming out at night, kept lighting the candle to bring her beloved home, to lead him to shore. Not sure how much truth there is to it. It's probably just a fairy tale. But she's become something of a local saint. Patron of undying love. Hence this place.
She's not here.
What?
She's not here. And why would she be? I don't even remember this place. This was a mistake. I shouldn't have come here.
Hey. It's okay. There's plenty of other places to look. We can still...
Come on.
Okay. More music to discuss. And story stuff to discuss. So, we just got a local legend from Maria. Again, this is a scene that was added to the remake. And Cleo and I have talked a bunch about this scene. I remember watching the scene the first time and being like, okay, clearly there's stuff going on here, but my brain's just not firing on all cylinders yet. But upon rewatches, I'll probably get more from it and talking it out and that sort of thing. Woman cast out to an island. The man who loves her keeps going out to see her. She holds a candle to show him where to go. There's a terrible storm one night, and he tries to keep going, but he ends up dying. And the woman keeps coming out to light her candle, hoping that he'll return. First of all, this will be echoed later on the lake. It'll also be echoed later in the Historical Society before the lake, where we get another version of this tale, which I'll dig more into that when we get there. But in this initial telling, I initially wasn't sure why Maria would be telling this story, because it's like, oh, the woman in the story must be Mary. Why would Maria... And Maria talks about her like, oh, she's become something of a saint around here and stuff. Like, why would Maria tell a story that essentially paints Mary as this saint-like figure? And then I thought about how if the woman in the story is Mary and James is the man dies in this story. And so what Maria might be implying is like, hey, if you keep trying to find your wife the way that you have just talked about incessantly since we met, you are going to die. This town and the storm that it's created. Yes, a terrible storm, any port in a storm, Cleo. I like that you pointed that out. The storm that is Silent Hill is going to kill you. So maybe you should stop trying to get through the storm to your wife, who might not even be there, and you should go with me. But James is very intent on his quest, and that's why after she finishes the story, he says she's not here. He's still thinking about Mary. He hasn't gotten the message that Maria is trying to send him, to her disappointment. And it like, again, I love the line delivery and the performance from Salome Gunnarsdottir in this scene, because it is so subtle. Like, she plays it fairly sincerely, but also, like, at some point it feels like, oh, maybe the first time actually watching it this time, I was like, I think there may be some admiration there in her, and like literally looking up at this statue and thinking about how, like, man, if I could just be her, then that would be what you need, but I'm not her. But there's still game to play, there's still story to tell, and so she still has hope that she can win James over. So when it comes to the music side of things, like I said before, this is a piece that is new to the remake, and it's very different from the previous two pieces that we heard in Maria's scenes. We started off with Null Moon, which had that the drum bass groove and like the Dorian mode stuff, and was kind of spooky in certain ways. And then we had Heaven's Night, which had a lot of those same elements and added in the tritone as a way to signal, like, hey, this woman is not to be trusted. And now we've got a piece that is much different. And on a harmonic level, we've returned to this very diatonic. We're in C minor. We've got that flat 6. We hear it at one point. We hear the bass go. That's like we've got the right hand doing the. At some point we hear, not that exactly rhythmically, but we'll get to that. So we know that we're in C minor, which is like a lot of the pieces in this game use C minor and F minor. Like, Akira Yamaoka really seems to like those keys. Another piece from the original that isn't on the remake soundtrack because they essentially just use it as it was recorded in the original is Fermata and Mystic Air. That's a piece from the original that's in C minor. So what's going on here? Why has Maria's music changed? As because Maria is changing tack again. She is like, okay, you don't like the like sexy drum and bass groove stuff. You don't like the non-diatonic harmonic stuff. Okay, I will tell you a story that is like puts Mary on a pedestal. The music is going to be the same sort of music that we've heard with all the stuff associated with Mary. It's very natural minor and diatonic. Very somber. Is that more to your liking? But even then, there is an offness to the music that she can't account for. And instead of it being a harmonic offness, it is a rhythmic offness. So we haven't talked a ton about rhythmic stuff so far. Most of the stuff we focused on is harmony and melody, and how those relate to the themes of the game and the storytelling. In this piece, I think it's particularly important to talk about the rhythmic side of things, because if the previous two pieces are conveying that offness and mystery with non-diatonic harmonies and stuff, This piece is conveying the offness of what Maria is doing on a rhythmic level. But in this piece, Shadow of the Lover's Tree, even though harmonically it's all diatonic, it all makes sense to our ears, rhythmically we have like 3 different things going on that are just layered on top of each other. We've got the riff that starts the song, the melody that starts the song, which is... It's just that repeated over and over again, and that on a rhythmic level is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Most music that you hear is going to be in either 4 or 3, where that's referring to like how many beats in a measure. Like any pop song, or like going back to something like Heaven's Night, we've got that rhythm of 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Most of the music we've heard up until this point has been in 4. This starts off with a riff that is in 5, and 5 is considered an odd time signature because rhythmically it feels a little off kilter. Like most famous thing that I always think of with something in 5 is the old jazz standard Take 5. Hold on. It's been a while since I've played this one. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's a kind of weird feel. Something that may be more familiar to contemporary audiences is Everything's Alright from Jesus Christ Superstar, which is basically Take 5 in a major key, and it is kind of a rip-off, and Andrew Lloyd Webber should be ashamed. Hold on, let me get back to... Everything's alright, yes, everything's fine, and we want you to sleep well tonight. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So yeah, so we're starting the piece off with an odd time signature. So even if melodically we're in an area where we're consonant and diatonic, we've got this off-kilter thing to start off, but it's just this single melody thing, so it's not that big of a deal. We're just repeating these same 5 notes over again. Then we get the bass, which is doing this kind of thing, and we hear that happening under where it's like... But it comes in on weird beats, and I actually counted it out just focusing on that bass part. The bass is in 9. It goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I don't know if those are the exact notes, but that's what it's doing rhythmically. It's repeating in 9. So we have something in 5 layered on top of something in 9. And then this melody line comes in that's going and that is in 4. It's going 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And that's all 3 of those things are layered on top of each other at once. Our ostinato or riff in 5, our bass line in 9, and then this melody in 4. So we have like 3 different rhythms going on at the same time. So even though on a harmonic level everything is consonant and perhaps more to James's liking, rhythmically it's still like, oh, this still doesn't feel right. And the main reason it doesn't jump out at us is because there's no rhythm section. We don't have that drum and bass anymore, which typically in a most popular music is what gives us a sense of, okay, this is the actual rhythm of the music. Without that there, we've just got these disparate parts. The bass section, like, there's not enough going on there even to really give us grounding. We just get those two chords every 9 beats. So it's barely keeping time for us, where the bass is usually what would keep time for us. Like, it's not really doing that. Everything on a rhythmic level is off kilter and unmoored, if we want to continue with the sea and water metaphors. And then halfway through the piece, we start getting this this thing that's basically in 3, and I counted that out, and at first I was like, oh, it's in 3, but they're like in greater subdivisions of 4, like a 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 3, 4. And then I was counting it more closely. I'm like, no, that actually either is in 9 the whole time or changes to 9 at some point, where it's going like, it's there's so many different things going on rhythmically in the song that it all feels very intentional. That, like, this is another piece that is supposed to be like Maria is trying to seduce James. The like sexy strip club stuff didn't work. Just looking like his wife didn't work. So now she's trying to be closer to what she thinks he wants. Something closer to the Magdalene theme, which is just that very simple, very consonant natural minor. It's like, hey James, I'm using the natural minor now, it's fine. And he's like, no, your rhythm's completely off, we're not in sync with each other. And I love being able to use that terminology where it's like, yes, those phrases come from things like music, and we're using them on both a literal and metaphorical level. And again, just genius work from Akira Yamaoka. I don't like throwing that word around because I feel like it diminishes the actual impact and meaning of the word, but suffice to say, I love the work that he has done for this game, and he's continued to do it with the remake, with a new piece like this, Shadow of a Lover's Tree, and it's so cool. Hey everyone, Ian from the future here. I know that was a lot of number stuff that I was throwing at you, and it was probably tough to kind of visualize or hear in your head all that stuff I was talking about outside the context of the scene. So I went out of the way to add those number indicators that I had on screen to the scene itself. I'm going to play the scene again, and you'll have those numbers, and it'll be in those 3 different layers, just to kind of show you what I mean by what I'm talking about, and like paying attention to how often or how not often the numbers in those 3 different rhythmic lines line up with each other. Sometimes all the ones fall on the same beat, and sometimes they're on completely different beats. Also, for the music people in the audience, I know that I've done an oversimplification entirely with rhythms, and like the main riff is technically in like 5/8, while the bass line you could say is in 9/4 or 8/4, or you could say it's a combination of 4/4 and 5/4. I'm aware of all that. I was doing my best to just try and keep things as simple as possible for people in the audience who aren't as familiar with music terminology, but I think that the point that I was trying to make still stands, is that there are all these different rhythms going on that don't quite line up, and that feels very intentional. So here's that scene again, and hopefully just seeing the numbers on the screen as each part is playing will give you a better sense of like how disparate the things in this song are, even if they're using the same note values. Like all the eighth notes are eighth notes in all the parts, all the quarter notes are quarter notes in all the parts, but the pacing at which each part repeats is completely different, which is
not typical.
Okay.
Who is she?
There's a story told around these parts. Kind of a local legend. Tells of a woman who was cast out. Sentenced to die on an island out on the lake. There was a man in town who fell madly in love with her. And every night, he would sneak out, row across the lake, bringing her food and company. And every night, she would stand there, on the shore, holding a lit candle to help him find his way. But this one night, a terrible storm broke out, caught him out in the open, and it blew out the candle. Even in darkness, the man would not give up. He would not turn back. So he fought against the raging waters until finally the lake took him. They say even then, the woman never lost hope. She kept coming out at night, kept lighting the candle to bring her beloved home, to lead him to shore.